Turn up the lights, you'll see them anyway. Sailing to never, to follow wherever you can go, and take you to the places you don't know. No, no! It's the call of the city, the way that that's pretty to the purest heart. Places of pleasure, they promise you treasure if you fly, and then there goes the soul of you and I. Oh, do you ever think about the way I caught the rainbow? I'll be there where fire makes you dance. I'm gonna give you the look that opens up the skies. I've got evil eyes. Evil eyes, evil eyes, evil those eyes, hide in the nighttime. Turn up the lights, they'll see you anyway. Sailing to never, they'll follow wherever you can go. Evil eyes, evil eyes, evil eyes, evil eyes. Evil eyes, evil eyes, take your lies, evil eyes, you're a thin disguise for what you are, evil eyes, sailing to never, they'll follow forever, 'cause they're evil eyes, evil, evil, evil.
What's going on, boys and girls? Welcome to
Wednesday night will call. I'm running late tonight. Uh, my apologies for that. I was gonna start doing the new Wednesday night stream next Wednesday, but I went through all the trouble of making this banner yesterday and showed it last night on a late night random stream that I did, and went to the grocery store a while ago, and I was like, "Holy shit! It's 8 o'clock. I'm supposed to be streaming tonight." Not technically, because I said I was going to start this new schedule Friday, but here I am, 30 minutes late. What else would you expect from a 2023 BVD stream? Trying to get these live streams back up and running, trying to get some content back up and running for you guys. Don't expect very many people here tonight. That's okay, because nobody knows about this stream yet until I do it. And I'm doing it. And you're here with me. And I appreciate you. Appreciate you a lot. Good to see you. Sporting my green and sporting my orange, as per always, and sporting a new uh, ding on the old armor. The old armor ain't what she used to be. I'll tell you that. I get cuts and scrapes now just thinking about them. I don't even know how I got that. I was bringing the groceries in and putting some things in the fridge, and I looked at my hand and I was like, damn, I'm bleeding. That's not good. It's never good when you look down and you're bleeding, is it? What's up, Nate the Great, Space Mountain, my boy Shane Bentley, my boy Vic Tube, my boy, hell, you're all my boys. I love all you guys. Went Gate City Blue Devils here. Got to see his hot ass wife last week when I went to get my new specs. See, just like I did before I got them. So, was it money wasted? Nah, because I like my new specs. They're clear and I like them. I watched a little bit of the midday stream today. And at the beginning, Pete was talking about how he hates talking about sponsorships and money and stuff like that. And Pete, if you're watching, I totally get it, bro. I've gotten ridiculed over the last couple of years, made fun of, even cussed for talking about money on here. But everybody does it. You go to any YouTube channel that does live streams on a regular basis, everybody does it. So why should I be the one to get ridiculed for it, right? Right. So I'm going to do my thing, and if people don't like it, I apologize. If you want to ridicule me for it, you can kick rocks, and I'll see to it that that happens. Thank you to my boys, Everhart Transportation Incorporated, for being my title sponsor and lifelong sponsor for the duration of the life of BBD TV. As long as there's a BBD TV, ETI will be the title sponsor. There's no debating that, no arguing that, no denying that. Thanks to Celine Driver, been on board for over 2 years. Solid as a rock, great guy. Go sub him up. Link is in the description. And most recently, South State Contractors, uh, Josh Quillen, right before the Slob Olympics, signed on as a sponsor of BBD TV, and it was right on time because he paid for my trip to the Slobs, and I'm very appreciative of that. I'm appreciative of every penny you guys donate on here, and you will hear, uh, you'll hear a lot of YouTubers come on here and say that donations and super chats are what keeps these streams going, and I get that. I get why they say that. But I got news for you. We were streaming way before there was ever money involved. It just so happens that now people have the option of donating to their favorite channels. Uh, and I appreciate every penny that you guys donate here. No secret, this ain't how I make a living, it's how I supplement my living. So, literally, every dime that comes in is gratefully appreciated. And I can't thank you guys enough for that. You guys all know the drill. You know how to support the channel if you want to. Links are in the description and at the top of the chat and the little
PayPal or super chat icons down there right below where you type in your troll comment or your hey, how's it going comment, or in Mayhem Matthews situation, yo, Lucas Sharp, what's up? TriStar, VicTube, all you guys. And Nate makes a really good point. Hit that thumbs up. There's a vast majority of people say that it helps the channel. I still don't know whether it does or not. Never seen any solid proof of that. Don't really care if it helps the channel or not. But if they say it helps, I just appreciate you guys taking the 2 seconds it takes to reach over there and give me a thumb, whether it's up or down. That's a you thing right there. If you appreciate the content that you see on any channel you watch, it's quick and easy. All you got to do is click that little thumbs up or thumbs down, and we all appreciate it. So, what's going on Wednesday nights here on BBD TV? Well, first of all, I had all kinds of trouble trying to figure out what days I was going to stream. Sunday nights are a given. I've been doing Sunday night forever. Even a lot of times when I was sick, I'd still make it on here on Sunday night. But now that I'm out of the woods and into the clear and free, ready, and willing to drink some beer, even though I don't, I'm free to stream any day that I want. The problem is now is there's 8,000 people streaming every night of the week, every day of the week, every midday of the week, every late night of the week. There's never been a time that I can remember in the last year or so that I could turn on my YouTube, click on my subscriptions, and there wasn't at least one person streaming. It's always somebody streaming. So the days of trying to work things out with other YouTubers on when I should stream and when I shouldn't are over. It's just, it's a every man for himself now. Like tonight, I got some good competition, if you want to call it that, on here. Uh, Boogie Bentley and the guys over at Talking VOLS are streaming. I can't compete with those guys right now. Maybe never. I don't know. Used to, they couldn't compete with me, but now I can't compete with them. TK, uh, TK's been around this community for years, but she's done went and gone professional on us. She's streaming now on Wednesday nights. I hate that we're both streaming at the same time, but it is what it is. Um, I love TK. She's doing a great job on here. I love her turnaround, if you want to call it. And she has some good streams on here too. So we'll just do Wednesday night will call. I'm calling it will call because that means if you know what a will call ticket office is, this is going to be kind of the same thing. Show up on Wednesday night and get your tickets to hang out with me. Last notice, day of the game, whatever you want to call it, and I will most likely welcome some people in here on these Wednesday night streams, at least through the off season. We'll see how they go. It takes a while for people to get used to you streaming on a regular schedule, and it's been a long time since I've done a regular schedule. I think we all know that. Um, Thank you, Lucas. I appreciate that comment. It's been a long time since I've done regular streams through the week, and it's my intent, and I say intent because we never know what's going to happen. It is my intent to keep this schedule, and who knows, maybe add a day, maybe, well, definitely when football season gets here, Friday nights. Will depend on Sea Dog because most Friday nights I'm going to be at the Greenville game filming and making my video for those guys. I expect to be back in full force for that. I know some of you don't give a shit, but some of you do. So for the ones that do, you can look forward to that this coming football season. And of course, I'll be ramping up the old Tennessee content here as we move along. I don't know. They say that the off season is a bad time to try and increase your subscriptions, but I'm not so sure if I believe that. If you can increase your subscription count in the off season, imagine what you can do during the football season because that's when a lot of people come back to YouTube. They're looking for content, you know. Um, so we'll see. We'll see. We will see. What's up, my boy Jimmy, Beast of the East, my fellow one-legged wonder? The one-legged wonder population on YouTube is growing. I know three of us right now on here, and I'm just gonna say it. We're three badasses. You don't want to fuck with any of the three of us. Me, Beast of the East, or Wayne Starnes over on Talking Balls Network. Trying to win Wayne back and get him back over here. So if you know Wayne and you're friends with him on here, you need to help me convince him to come back to BVD TV. He got all mad at me because I accidentally timed him out during a Kentucky game, and he hasn't been back since. And he says he's a man of his word and he ain't coming back, so he may not, you know. But I like Wayne. We got a lot in common. Most first and foremost, we're big Tennessee fans. Um, but we can't control everyone, right? I'm going to go on a membership push here. Everybody's getting into the membership things now. So if you want to become a member of the old BVD channel, the join button is right below that box right there that you're looking at me through. Let's see if I can show you where the box is. Yep, right here. Boom. Right down there somewhere. Click that. There's several levels. Uh, and I'm going to work on those here in the coming weeks. I think the first level is like $2.99, $3.99. So hell, I don't know. I haven't looked at that in forever because I haven't pushed it. You guys know I'm just now becoming a YouTuber again, relearning how to do all of this. What's up, Rackama Dog? How you doing? So all of the spring football games are over. At least all of the meaningful ones are. I think Alabama's spring game is this weekend, but let's be honest, who gives a shit, right? I'm just saying, I don't. We all know Bama's going to be in the top five this year, maybe number one at some point. They're going to be predicted to win the SEC West. They're going to be predicted by some to win the SEC. There's even a few idiots out there that might predict them to win the whole damn thing, and they might do it. What's up, Eric B. Jones? There's a Talking Balls guy that's come on over. Twisted Rooster, what's going on? Uh, so, yeah, there's the Gump game this weekend. They ought to call it Gump Day instead of A Day, but that's just my personal thoughts. Chris Simpson. See, there you go. Look at that. Chris Simpson. Well, you can't see it on here, but he's in green. That means he's a member. I appreciate that, Chris. I appreciate that a lot. God, it's been years since I've had anybody become a member of this channel. And today may be the first time I've mentioned it in years. I forgot all about it for the longest time. But why not? It's cheap. It don't cost much to be a member. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Until we build memberships up, honestly, I'm just going to be straight up honest with you. The only thing I offer um, at the membership level right now, I think, is maybe an emoji, you know. But there's other channels that have really high levels that don't offer anything. It's a nice thing to do if you're a regular of a channel, you know. Um, some people they offer rewards for becoming a member. Um, although to be quite honest with you, I can't think of one channel that offers a bunch of rewards for becoming a member. I know there's private streams. Um, shout out used to be a big thing for me. If you'll join a member, if you'll become a member for $2.99, I'll give you a shout out. Whoop de frickin' do. A shout out. It's like, really? Okay. Well, I can give all of you a shout out for nothing. Shout out to Mayhem Matthew. Shout out to Kevin Jr. Shout out to TriStar. Shout out to Nate the Great. Shout out to Chris Simpson. Extra special shout out to Chris Simpson. He's a member. Uh, Shout out to Lucas Sharp. Shout out to Eric B. Jones. Shout out to Twisted Rooster. You see where I'm going here? Shout out to Rack Dog. Shout out to Beast of the East, a member of the CNS, the Cowboys uh, Naked People Syndicate. I don't know what CNS stands for. I really don't. It's Cowboy something Syndicate. Shout out to all of you guys. I appreciate it. Will call Wednesday. there is so much going on in the world right now that we could talk about. But I want to know what you guys want to talk about. What do you guys want to talk about in here tonight? There's a lot of live streams going on. Hang on just a second, guys. Let me go shut this door. Um, Pretty much here alone. John's asleep and Tony's gone for a couple of days. Hang on. My apologies for that. John has to get up at like 4 in the morning to get ready for work, and I have a tendency of talking pretty loud sometimes. I've heard on these streams, so I don't want to wake him up. Uh, yeah, what do you guys want to talk about? You can go to a lot of streams this time of year, and there's no telling what you might hear, or what you might see, or what people might be talking about. And for the most part, everybody kind of does it the same thing. Uh, Same thing. Talk about whatever, because there ain't really. All right, college football. That's what this channel was built on. I can sit here and talk about the fact that the NCAA hearings got going today for Tennessee. Jeremy Pruitt, his lawyer, are up there in Cincinnati. Mike Slive is up there. Philip Fulmer's up there. The NCAA asshole guys are up there. And this is going on, I think, for I don't know how long. I haven't read up completely on it. I just know that Tennessee fans and college football fans should hear something fairly soon about what's going on in this Jeremy Pruitt case. Now, wait a minute. Yeah, I wish I had something like this too, Lucas. I don't even get this. Ain't even mine right now. I mean, it's my room, obviously, um, but since I moved my cousin in a year and a half ago to be my well, back then I moved him in to be my arms and my legs because he had to do everything for me. This is where he sleeps. And he tells me all the time, man, anytime you need to use your studio for YouTube, just tell me and I'll get out. But dude's working now. I ain't trying to come in here at 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning and wake him up and say, get out, I've got to make a video, or get out, I want to do a lot. You see where I'm going? So I pretty much just get to use it. Now, my live stream nights, he knows if he ain't working and he's here, I'm streaming. That's just it. What's up, Eric Wallace? Um, so, yeah, anyway, back to the Tennessee thing. Thank you for the compliment on the room, Lucas. And you can have something like this. All you got to do is live to be 56 years old, collect a bunch of Tennessee shit over the years, and then nail it to the walls. That's it. Nothing to it, right? And this is not nothing, man. These things back here are. If this square box that you're looking at me through, is the room in which all of the Tennessee shit I've had in my life is collected, what's in here currently is about this much. It's ridiculous the money that I've spent over the years on Tennessee stuff and cigarettes. If I could have all the money back that I've spent on Tennessee memorabilia and tickets and concessions at the game and cigarettes that I've smoked, I could tell Disability to keep their little chump change every month and keep their insurance. I'll take my $1 million and go to an island somewhere and be happy, because I promise you and a lot of you guys are probably the same way. It's got to be pushing $1 million by now. I mean, I've had some pretty good paying jobs in my life, and I worked for 32 years. It's not like I've been a lazy, sucking off the government, worthless turd forever, just the last several years. Um, I've worked most of my life, and I've had some good jobs, and I've spent entirely too much money on Tennessee stuff. Entirely too much. There's $180 I'd like to have back right there. There's 100 I'd like to have back right there. I got a shitty tattoo you can't see on my arm that I got in 1998 when we won the Natty that I would definitely like. That was $80 in 1998, and it's only about that big around, and it's faded and it sucks now. I'd definitely like to have that money back. That's there you go, Rooster. That's a good comment. I'm not 100% sure the full story of Twisted Rooster, but I know he lives in a travel trailer now. I believe 36-footer. I think he heard it. I heard him say, and there's some nice rigs, man. I haven't seen roosters, but I imagine it's probably pretty nice. And there's a trend. You see how I bounce all over the place? I do that. I've always been like that. So forgive me for not being able to get on a subject and stay with it. This way I cover a whole lot more topics anyway, right? If I'm bouncing all over the place. But there's a big and has been a big movement in this country for years now. Shrinkage. People going from big old houses to these little tiny houses. And I could totally roll with that, man. I've lived in a camper several times in my lifetime. And when you condense everything down to just the things you need, life is so much easier. Yeah, it's fun, I'm sure, to have a big old sprawl of 50 acres and 8 barns on your property and 15 tractors that never get used. And, I'm sure that's probably a lot of fun too. But I've never had 50 acres. I've never had an acre of property, let alone 50. So I wouldn't know. I've lived in some big houses, and that's one of the reasons I've got so much junk in this little ass house that I live in. There's like entirely too much shit in this house. I just noticed a TV missing. Oh, that's right. Tony takes TV with him when he goes to see his boys. Video gamers. Damn, can't live with them. Can't turn the video games off. But yeah, tiny house living. I could dig it. I could definitely roll. I could live in a damn room this size if it was just me and have no problems. A lot less shit to keep up with. I'm a clutter bug anyway. I hate to say that. I don't live in a dirty house per se, but this bitch is cluttered. I mean, there is shit everywhere. And I've been saying for years that I'm going to go through this house and take everything out that I don't just absolutely need, including roommates, and get rid of it. Ain't going to happen. Ain't going to happen anytime soon. Um, I've closed the chat, bud. What, huh? Uh, Sorry, Shane. I'm like totally confused on that one. Um, where's the link to become a member? I got you. Shane, it should be, hell, it should be right under the box. Let me go to, um, yeah, it is. I don't know if you're on a phone or not, and it may be different on phones, but on a computer, right below. Good God, YouTube's way behind. Holy shit. How can YouTube be that far behind? Oh, because I didn't click the live button. Derp. Uh, as I'm looking at it, right below where it says Wednesday in the title, there's a little button called Join. And you just click that and you get to watch this ancient video that I did years ago. So old that I've got a 36 Motel hat on. And there's 3 different levels of membership on here. The kindergarten class is $4. The high school football star is $10, and the Heisman Trophy candidate level is $20. And that's just some numbers that I came up with years ago when everybody was first doing the membership thing. I'm going to get around to changing that. I think I'm just going to go at some point. I might just go with one amount, one level. It says you do get rewards for becoming a member of BVD TVD. You get loyalty badges next to your name in the comments and live chat. And I've got 2 of them down there. I got to figure out how to do all that stuff if I'm going to start asking people to be members again. I've at least got to figure out how to give you some emojis. It's not appearing on your phone. Let's see if it appears on mine. It could be a phone thing, Shane. Dude, I would appreciate it if you became a member. That would be great. But you super chat all the time, man. Let's see. Come on, phone YouTube. Do you have an Android or an iPhone? You see it on the PC, okay. So I'm waiting for mine to come up. It could be, let's see. So I'm waiting for mine to come up. It doesn't come up on my phone either. Even if I click more info. Huh. We learned something tonight, Shane. We learned something tonight. I was going to say something and I forgot what the hell it was. Well, if you're watching Law Tide, that sucks. There we go. Shane Bentley, new member. He figured it out. Shane Bentley's a smart guy. I knew he would figure it out. There you go. I picked up 2 memberships tonight. You guys are awesome. I appreciate the hell out of it. I used to debate that with people a long time ago. I'm like, people that have these memberships could be cutting themselves out of money because people might stop super chatting if they become a member. I don't think people do. I think it's just like people like Shane Bentley, just clearly a nice dude, man, and a very generous guy. I've known this guy on here for years. I think we missed a couple of opportunities to meet each other. Or maybe we did meet at a catfish gathering years ago. Forgive my memory. Scooter, been a member forever. LSU Scooter, to my knowledge, has been a member for freaking ever. One of the original members. But what I was saying, I used to debate with some of the other guys over whether to offer memberships or not, and a lot of guys didn't and still don't offer memberships. Some people go the Patreon route. So I don't know. I still don't know where I stand on that. I've seen over on Talking Balls channels, it doesn't matter. A lot of the members still super chat. He doesn't do the PayPal and Cash App thing. So it doesn't affect that one way or the other. But there's a lot that goes into this, in the thinking cap department. For us people that do this, the ones especially that do it for a living. I guess you could say I do this for a living. I guess you could say this is my job, if you want to call it that, because technically money that I earn on here is reported to taxes. So I guess this is my job. And you are allowed to work when you have disability. I know a lot of people choose not to. For the longest time, I chose not to. Because I was scared if I worked, I'd lose my disability. And you look at the last, thank you, Scooter, for the super chat. Quite simply says, here's a super chat for you, buddy. If you look at the last year and a half, 2 years of my life, I would have been royally screwed without my disability. All the countless nights in the hospital, all the surgeries, 16 surgeries in the last year and a half. And my portion that I'm supposedly have to pay for all of that is around 80 grand. Imagine how much it would be if I hadn't had disability and insurance. I mean, they would have probably locked me up because they don't fuck around with hospital bills anymore like they used to. I don't think anybody's going to jail for not paying a hospital bill or a doctor's bill or whatever. But speaking of doctors and all that shit, let me run this by you guys and tell me what your opinion is. So I've had the same primary care doctor for the last 2-3 years, and before I went to this guy, I had to switch because I got discharged from Summit Medical Family, whatever the hell their name is here in Greenville, because my bill that I owed them got up over like 2 or 3 grand. Well, my problem was I didn't even know I had a bill with them. Every time I would go see the doctor, when I would leave, I'd check out. I'd say, "Do I owe anything today?" "Nope, you're covered. You're good." This went on for 2 or 3 years. Well, I get a letter in the mail one day saying I've been discharged for non-payment. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Non-payment. So I called them up and I went round and round with these people. And I was like, why didn't you send me a letter? We sent you a letter last week. I'm like, last week? You guys are saying that I've owed you money for years and you're sending me a letter last week? Whatever. Okay, whatever. Um, so they discharged me. I didn't argue or debate it. I was getting tired of that place anyway because I never could see a damn doctor. It was always a nurse practitioner. Every now and then you want to see an actual doctor, you know? And so I went to a different doctor here in town. I get a certified letter, a registered letter today, and I'm like, this can't be good. Those are never good, you know? So I didn't read it. And I had to reschedule an appointment today because I didn't have my vehicle. And my appointment was coincided with the time that I had let use Tony use the vehicle to go to an appointment of his own. And so I called him to reschedule, and she said, "Well, you'll have to reschedule, but it's got to be before May 13th." I'm like, "Why does it have to be before May 13th? Is the doctor going to be out of town? Is the doctor quitting?" "No, you've been discharged." I'm like, "What?" "Yeah, you've been discharged from the practice." And I'm like, "Why?" Keep in mind, when I went last month, I paid up everything I owed him. I totally caught my bill up. It was several $100, pretty much wiped me out. And I paid him up because I didn't want to have any issues with getting discharged, right? So I'm thinking everything's all honky dory or cracker dory or whatever kind of Dory. Dory, the little cartoon character. And then, yeah, she tells me I've been discharged. And I said, for what? I just caught my bill up last month, so I know everything's cool. And she said, too many reschedulings. And I'm like, what? She said, yeah, apparently you've either missed appointments or, rescheduled too many times. And I'm like, okay, you guys have known for months that I have vehicle issues. You guys have known for almost 2 years that I couldn't freaking drive. And so that was a lot. That's been a lot of the rescheduling. Didn't have a way, whatever. A couple of times I just straight up forgot. But for the most part, I was in the hospital when an appointment schedule, whatever. I was pissed, man. I was like, so what do I just need to talk to the doctor to get this straightened out? And she said, no, you'll have to talk to the office administrator. And I'm thinking, well, wouldn't that be the doctor? It's his doctor. It's his practice. He's the main guy, you know, to hell. So anyway, I got to deal with that now. I'm just going to find another doctor anyway. Screw him. Um, uh, yeah, I know, Matthew. I know a member, maybe even a non-member, can gift other people memberships. I think that's what you're saying. Um, I could, I could do that, Lewis. It ain't that far. It's got plenty of juice. I could make it there. The doctor's office is 2 miles from here, tops. A lot of hills, but it'd make it. Um, Jerry, we have NetTrans, which I'm not fucking with those guys, man. I mean, in a pinch, they would do a good job, and I've actually used them once when I was already in the hospital from one facility to another. But I've heard that you have to set up rides with them like way, way, way in advance, and there's no guarantee that they're even going to get you there on time anyway. They're cheap, but I'm not worried about it. I'll just go. I've been wanting to find a new doctor anyway. I've got a doctor in mind that I would like to use, but uh, it's a long story with him. For some reason, Medicare insurance is not taken at his office, so it might be worth just paying. I think he charges 35, $45 for a regular visit. Might be better off to just pay him if you don't take insurance, because he's one of my favorite doctors. He's a great guy. He actually gives a shit about his patients. Um, so, yeah, they do, Augusta Gator. NetTrans, I mean, they drop you off. They might get you there on time, but you might not get a ride back home till the next week. I mean, it's the only public transit we've got besides calling a cab. I don't even know if Greenville has Uber or not. I'm surely to God we do. So what is this comment? The NCAA has spanked Tennessee into submission. Um, I don't, unless you know something I don't. Um, let's see. Let's just Google and see if anything happened today. If they spank anybody, it better be Jeremy Pruitt's dumbass. We can talk about that. Um, a lot of people are in the corner that I'm in, which is, why are you going to punish the current kids and current staff for something that happened with a totally different staff and totally different players? The university has punished itself with scholarship reductions. Um, so we'll see about all of this. That's my stance. I think, if the NCAA feels like they need to punish Tennessee a little more, fine, take a few more scholars from us. What else? What else could they do? What do you guys think would be just and applicable, as some people say it, punishment for Tennessee after all this that's gone on? What do you think? We've got some ball fans in here. What's your opinion? I might not want to ask Augusta Gator to say, throw the book at him or throw the prosthetic at him. No, haven't seen him yet, Chris. Saruga, get out of here with that garbage now. Come on. That is so tired and old and played out. Kind of like, when you guys used to hate the hashtag 1980 thing. I guess we're going to have to hear that until we win the Natty this year. Bowl ban's not happening, Big Tube. That might be your opinion, but I know that talk has been on the table. And maybe a bowl ban is on the table as far as the NCAA is considered. I don't, now the more I've looked into this, the more I've thought about it, I don't think that's going to happen, because I don't think the NCAA is that stupid. They would be basically cutting their own throats if they gave Tennessee a bowl ban, because they would basically be pretty much going back on their own word. And if they do that, if they give Tennessee a bowl ban, everybody else in college football is going to be like, screw you, NCAA. We're going to do what we want, because most of us are doing what we want anyway. Nothing's out of the realm of possibility. That could happen. Just like it could happen that Saruga wakes up one day and realizes he's really a Tennessee fan. That could happen, but it's probably not. Like, I'm not going to sit and hold my breath waiting for it to happen. It just ain't going to happen. And I really don't think a bowl ban's going to happen either. But at this point, nothing would surprise me. Oh, yeah, Donde Plowman's there. They're all up there. They're all up there for this. Let's see. Here's a good. Eric Kane put out a good video about it. There's been a lot of good videos about this whole situation put up on YouTube, and it just kind of depends on where you get your news and info. Clearly, BVD TV is not a college football news and info destination. This channel is more of a react to the news and info channel. And Although you're going to be surprised when the season gets here, and I may work one out before the season. I've got it arranged. This is actually breaking news for my channel. It has been arranged that every week Tennessee, you know how most colleges, their coaches do press conferences the week after a game, usually on Monday. Well, this year, your boy Tennessee has gotten permission to interview Josh Heupel after every game. I've been working behind the scenes. I just ain't been telling nobody. So you'll get to enjoy that this year, this football season. He'll do his normal pressers where he goes with all the media types and does his thing. But then he's gonna allot 10, 15 minutes each week to talk to your boy BVD about the previous week's game. And he's agreed to answer all my questions, no matter what they are. And I agreed with him that I wouldn't step out of bounds and take any cheap shots at Alabama or Georgia while he's on here with me. No shit, Adam. No shit. You'll see. Yeah, you Georgia sports fans had a great year. Um, had several great years. Read my last comment. How do you know I didn't read your last comment, by the way, Mr. Paxton? I may have just not read it out loud. Huh? Texas was the last team to stop teams from three-peating. Nebraska 96, USC 05. So I see where you're going with this. You're thinking that Texas is going to be the team to stop Georgia this year, right? Is that what you're thinking? Motivated, dedicated. New name uh, to BBD TV. Never seen that name before. Must be a Georgia fan. Good point, Chris. All the players and coaches got involved. I think this maybe what you were trying to say. The university did more than cooperate with the NCAA assholes. If we hadn't been 11-2, the NCAA are about done for, anyways. Yeah, I think what I'm reading here is Tennessee did their part, and would this even be on the table? Well, it'd be on the table, but if Tennessee hadn't gone 11-2 last year, we talked about this with Boogie last week. If Tennessee hadn't gone 11-2, would this even be a big radar issue right now? If Tennessee was 5-7 last year, nobody would even be talking about this because the NCAA, what gain would they have by punishing a team in the shitter like that? But this way, if they throw the proverbial book at Tennessee while we're on the uptick, while we are back in the national championship conversation, you don't have to agree with or like that, but it is a fact. Tennessee was in the conversation last year till they shit the bed in Columbia. God, that still hurts. Shit. Just imagine being a Tennessee fan, right? And get out of here with that no rings, no defense shit. Or no defense, no rings. Um, just imagine being a Tennessee fan for the last 20 years. Your program is in the absolute toilet year in, year out. You get your hopes up, they come out and they shit on you. And then all of a sudden, in 2022, 8 games in, they're undefeated. They come out with the ridiculous #1 ranking in the first college football playoff poll. As a Tennessee fan, I stick to my guns to this day. I think that was a horrible thing to happen to Tennessee to be ranked #1. #1, I think Georgia should have been, because I've always been in the camp of the defending national championship should be #1 the previous year, unless they're having a shit year, you know. But until you're knocked off of the mountain, you should be the king of the mountain, so to speak. Um, so Yeah, for Tennessee to be ranked number 1 last year. Imagine as a Tennessee fan what that was like. Oh my God, we are actually in the talks for the college football playoffs. And I don't think any of us, I know I didn't think that was a possibility last year before the season. No way, no way in hell. Um, you guys that have been watching me for my whole 14 years on here know that I used to get on here every preseason and say, this is the year we're coming back. We're going to win the Natty. And each year, each game, each year, I would come on here each week in my hate week videos and say, yep, we got Alabama this year. They won 45 national championships in a row, but by God, this year we're going to beat them by 30. That's the old BVD. That's what I used to do on here. Not anymore. I'm more of a realist now, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing as it relates to my channel. But I'm still the same old me. I'm still the same old jilted Tennessee fan that's been used to having his damn heart stepped on and crushed on, no matter what the sport in college athletics. It doesn't matter. That's why I try to keep my spirits tempered nowadays. Georgia fans, you guys can relate. You might not admit it now, but you guys went through decades of misery. The fact that was it the 90s or the 80s or the 80s and the 90s? We owned you guys. Everybody owned you guys. You guys were hot garbage. Jim Donnan years. Um, oh, what the hell was his name? My favorite Georgia coach of all time, Ray Goff, Ray Goof. You guys went through it. There was probably times where you guys were thinking, man, we're never going to get back to the top. And now here you are. And you guys are as cocky. You're more cocky than the Bama fans were when they were on their run. I'll say this for Clemson fans. When they were on their little run, what'd they win? 3 natties in a 5 or 6 year period, something like that, whatever it was. Their fans were really pretty chill about it. I'm sure there were some that were flapping their jaws all the time, which they should have been. In fact, we had a couple of guys. It's kind of funny. We've had some guys on YouTube earlier in this century or millennium or whatever that were Clemson fans that were on here every week running their dick suckers about how great Clemson is. And that was back when the term Clemsoning was around. And now that Clemson's good, those guys are nowhere to be found. Brazzy B, what was that other retard's name? Savage Tiger. Love him or hate him, that guy was fun to watch. Both of them, really. Brazzy B was kind of like the Sleet of Clemson fans. Savage Tiger was like the Uncle Lou on crack, meth, and crank of YouTubers. He was like Uncle Lou times 50. And those of you that are Uncle Lou lovers, you know what I'm talking about. You can just imagine. Imagine Uncle Lou being 50 times more Uncle Louish than he is now. That was Savage Tiger. That guy was off the rails. I mean, every now and then, Jerry, I hear from Catfish. Usually it's if I text or call him, but he's busy. You know. You out, Adam? And by the way, Brazzy B, yeah, Adam remembers. He's been around for a long time. By the way, Adam, thanks for the PayPal. What was it, 3 or 4 nights ago? That I didn't catch until after the show was over because you didn't tell me or I didn't see it. But I appreciate it. Hey, you guys that send PayPals, you got to let me know that you sent them because I don't get notifications. Or if I do, I don't hear them. I get email notifications, but I never look at my email anymore. So, and I do get a text if I get a Cash App. So, one of the few UGA fans that can't dig Uncle Lou. Oh, I hear you.
I wouldn't say Uncle Lou can't take it. I mean, he definitely can dish it for sure. But I can't. I see your point, but then again, I don't see your point. You know. Um, but look, there's not there's not a YouTuber or a human on this earth that doesn't have people that don't like them. There's people that don't like me. There's people that, and how could you not like me, by the way? How could you not like such a handsome, nice, toothless, ugly, stupid, retarded, goofy ass hillbilly? No, anyway, I've never met anybody in my life that didn't have somebody that didn't like them. And I've got a really good example, but I'm not going to say his name um, because they don't want their name mentioned. He doesn't want his name mentioned in this community anymore, but one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life. Um, there's even people that don't like him. Hello? Was it me you were looking for, Rack Dog? I can see it in your eyes. I can, well, I can't do the rest of that song because, you know. Speaking of old Lionel Richie, anybody watch, we'll do a 180 here. Anybody watch American Idol anymore? Anybody ever watched American Idol? I'm guilty. I've watched it since the first season. Have not missed a season. Sad, pathetic. Yes, I know. I fully admit that and own that. It is pathetic that a 56-year-old man watches shows like American Idol, Teen Mom. Uh, Teen Mom might be the most embarrassing, but I don't give a shit. I own it. I own the fact that I've been a Teen Mom fan since the show came out. I just, for some reason, I've always found shows like that intriguing. What's up, Talk? Chess how? I've always found reality shows like that intriguing. Um, Sadly, the whole Teen Mom thing set off a national, maybe even worldwide uh, pandemic of teen pregnancies, you know, because I think a lot of teenagers saw those shows and thought it was, oh, it looks cool to be pregnant as a teen. No, it's not. To me, you know, I'm not going to say you ruin your life if you become a teen parent, because there's been millions of people that have, uh, you know, been teen parents and did just fine. I've got a prime example. Good friends of mine in Raleigh, their daughter got pregnant as a teen. And I'm pretty sure that wasn't what they were hoping or planning for, but it's worked out good so far. In fact, she just had her second. So, you know, um, wow, boy, we went off the rails quick, didn't we? Didn't even need your all's help for that. What's up, Steve? No, don't tell me that. I record Survivor. There's another show I watch. I've been watching Survivor since like season. I've seen probably 90% of the seasons of Survivor. I generally don't miss that show either. Uh, what's some of the other dumb shit I watch? I watch entirely too much dumb shit on TV now since I don't work full time. YouTube used to be what I spent 90% of my time on. But not anymore. I still watch a lot of YouTube. I still frequent a lot of the same places that I used to watch on YouTube, but I don't, I'm not living on YouTube like I used to. Um, and I'll probably get back to that at some point. The more you stream, the more you want to watch other streams to see what's going on and so forth and yada yada. But some of the dumb shows I watch, uh, I'll watch most of the Alaskan shows. Gold Rush, been watching it since the first season. Gold Rush Whitewater, been watching it since the first season. Those are not the ones I'm thinking about, though. Life Below Zero. I don't know if you guys watch any of those. You got Sue up in at the frickin' North Pole at Cabot Camp up there all by herself. And then some of the other characters on that show. Been watching them for years. Naked and Afraid Solo, Naked and Afraid Fan Edition, Naked and Afraid. I keep waiting for Naked and Afraid with clothes on to come out, you know. All these reality survival shows, I watch a bunch of those. Port, what's that called? Port something, Alaska. Port, hell, I've done forgot the name. It's Port something. It's a community of like 20 or 30 or 40 people. Port Protection, that's the name of it. Up in Port Protection, Alaska. I love shows like that. I don't know why. I don't know why they're so intriguing to me. They just always have been. And of course, here more recently, I've been getting into non-reality stuff. Like recently, got back into Lost, Yellow Jackets, Big Bang Theory. Tried watching Young Sheldon, just could not get into it. God, what is that other show? Lost, Yellow Jackets. It's the show after a video game. Come on, The Last Something, Last of Us, Days of Our Lives. It's fun. Alaskan Bush People. Love that show too, Rackdog. And that show annoys the hell out of me. Those people are fake as hell. They didn't grow up in the damn bush. Most of them grew up on TV. But anyway, I still like the show and watch it. Adam said Days of Our Lives, I think. Anyway, whatever soap it was that he mentioned. General Hospital was my jam. Adam, not going to lie. I started watching General Hospital in the early 80s when I would come home from school. Mom would be watching it because we only had one TV in the house. And if I wanted to watch TV when I got home from school, it was whatever Mom was watching. And it was always General Hospital. Then after General Hospital was over, I'll never forget when Oprah had her show. I'd have to sit through General Hospital and freaking Oprah. And I got hooked on General Hospital so bad to the point where when I moved out of the house after high school, I started recording that shit. And here's a funny story. Me and John have lived together so many times over the years. One of the times when we were living in Knightdale, North Carolina, I was recording General Hospital and come home. I was a stoner back then. I'd come home, do whatever I had to do around the house, and then smoke a big fat bowl and watch General Hospital. Well, it used to piss John off because I had the only TV in the house, and if he wanted to watch TV, he was watching General Hospital. So at first, he would bitch about it, just like I did with Mom, bitch about it every day. But he wasn't changing my mind. And since I was the one buying the weed back then, if he wanted to get high, he had to sit in there and watch General Hospital and get high with me. So it didn't take long. But after maybe a few weeks of that, I'll never forget it. John come home from work one day, come running in the house yet. You didn't start GH yet, did you? I'm like, huh? You didn't start the hospital without me, did you? He was hooked. And so every day for a couple, 2 or 3, 4 years, that was our routine. I'd get home from work, do whatever shit I needed to do around the house, or hop on, play my bass or my guitar, waiting on him to get home. Then he'd get home. We'd get all of our shit done. We'd sit down and smoke a bowl and watch General Hospital. So thank you for that flashback, Adam. Blast from the past. This was Luke and Laura's wedding was when I was still living, I think when I was still living with Mom and was in school. I definitely remember that. That was like the biggest thing on TV. If you're around my age, hell, Adam knows. He brought it up. If you're around my age, whether you watched soaps or as they call them around here, stories, I'm watching my story. Leave me alone, boy. You know, if you were around that time, you definitely knew what Luke and Laura's wedding was all about. Why did I stop smoking weed? Stop smoking weed. I can drop one, innocent culprit. I got about 25 minutes left. I'll drop the link here in just a second. I stopped smoking weed basically because it started making me paranoid and I discovered painkillers. My second back surgery in 96, I think. 96 maybe ish. Can't remember now. That's when I got hooked on hydros, Lortabs. I didn't need weed anymore. So that's why I quit. Plus, it started making me paranoid as fuck. I started hating the feeling weed was giving me. And at that time, you could have, if you'd have told me that, Keith, one of these days, real soon, you're going to stop smoking weed, I'd have been like, the fuck? I ain't ever quitting, you know? I blame weed and always have for ruining my life. Just straight up. I firmly believe then, and I kind of believe now, although I'm not so sure anymore. But back when I was growing up, I think weed was most absolutely a gateway drug. I didn't know anybody that just smoked weed back then. Back then, everybody I knew that smoked weed also drank. Most of them would try cocaine if it came around, or, you know, mushrooms, acid, you name it. Soapers. What else was big back then? Ludes. I never got to try a Quaalude, and I'm a little bit upset about that because I think I would have liked it. Because when I used to go to NA and AA, even though I've never been an alcoholic, I would always say, "Hi, my name's Keith, and I'm a like-it-aholic." And I'd crack everybody up, and I'd break the ice, and blah, blah, blah. But I did. I liked it all. The only thing I didn't like was alcohol. I've never liked alcohol, so I've never been worried or concerned about becoming an alcoholic. And I used to go round and round with some of the old head AA guys, you know. Oh, no, you can't be like that. Why the fuck can I? I can very much so sit here and tell you that I know I'm never going to become an alcoholic. Oh, you can't say that. You can't say that because you don't know. Yes, I do know. I can't stand the taste of beer. Is disgusting to me. I don't like the feeling of being drunk. I never have really, to be honest, even back when I was doing it every weekend. I mainly just did it because my friends did. Normally, though, if I had weed, I was good with that. I didn't have to have alcohol. So I've never worried about alcoholism with me. And plus, I think alcoholics have it worse than most other addicts. And before you start barking at me, let me explain that. The reason I say that is because alcohol is everywhere. It's everywhere. You can't go anywhere anymore, hardly, where you can't get alcohol, except church. And if you're Catholic, they've even got you covered, you know? So I always used to say, man, alcoholics, especially the ones that try to quit, man, they've got it rough. Because you can't go fucking anywhere without seeing it, having it available. A lot of people drink socially, so you got to be able to cut that shit off. No, thank you. So, you know, not many, Paxton. Not many can admit it, but, you know, shout outs to the ones that can. In fact, we got about 20 minutes left. Well, I got as much time as I want left on YouTube, hopefully. I'll drop that link. Hell, come on in. I don't know that I like that term, functioning alcoholic. I get it. I understand the meaning of it. Functioning alcoholic is somebody that drinks every day and goes to work. We've probably got several functioning alcoholics in this community. But hell, you're functioning whether you're an alcoholic or not, is the way I look at it. You can't navigate life without functioning. And some of us can't even do that. I've had many times where I was not a functioning human. I was out, worthless. And, but I get the whole term functioning alcoholic. I get it. I got no problems with alcoholics. You know, a lot of my friends are alcoholics.
I'm entering.
What's up, innocent culprit?
What's up, BBD?
How you doing, man?
I'm entering.
I don't think you were expecting me to bring you in that quick, were you?
I don't want him to get copyright struck. Turn that down.
Yeah, tell him to turn that shit down. I don't know. I can't even hear what it is. Well, he's working things out. This video or most of my streams are copyrighted anyway because I play copyrighted music. So I don't make any ad revenue off of these streams. I don't know that anybody does. It sounds like it, Flint. Sounded like AM radio. There's a whole nother story, old school story I could talk about. Let's see if we got it fixed this time. Well, you there?
I'm here, BVD. The audio is not lining up with the picture, and that's what I was.
Have you got YouTube on?
I do.
You have to mute your YouTube and listen through StreamYard.
10-4. Let me get back in.
That always screws you up when you're not accustomed to doing this. I don't think Innocent Culprit gets on a lot of live streams. That sounded more like transistor, not transistor radio, but what is that shit? Ham radio. Ham radio. Third time's got to be the charm.
Either that or 3 strikes, I'm out.
There you go. You sound fine now.
Well, I had heard you. It was kind of like, you know, how when you call into the radio, if you don't turn your radio station down, you know, you get the feedback. And I heard
never
that.
did understand that either back in the day. I was like, why does it matter if I turn my damn radio down?
Well, I don't know.
I get it now.
Back when cell phones first came out, me and my little brother used to do this thing. We'd take my mom and my dad's cell phone and we'd call the one number from the other cell phone, and then we'd hold them both together, and it would make kind of that echoey, kind of really trippy, psychedelic kind of sound.
Gotcha. I'll tell you what else makes a really trippy, psychedelic effect. And I discovered this while stoned one night right after watching General Hospital. I had a regular old one of them gigantic video cameras, you know, the kind you used to have to hold on your shoulder. Had a full-size VHS tape in it. And I had it wired into the TV. So anytime I was moving the camera around, you were seeing it on TV. Well, I moved the camera in front of the TV and something just went, it flashed. Like this weird white shit flashed. And I discovered that if you would zoom into the TV with your video camera, while it was hardwired to it, it would make all these cool effects. So we used to sit around for hours stoned watching the cool TV effects from our video camera.
Well, I guess probably about the time that you were probably doing stuff like that, I was probably maybe 8 or 9 years old, sitting in front of the TV trying to jiggle the cable wire to get the bad channels to come in, trying to get that same effect. I'm 35.
Oh, you're considerably older than me. Younger than me. I mean,
I was born in 87.
Yeah, well, you know, cable TV didn't come around till like 80.
Well, I remember back the first TV that my folks had. It was a Zenith, and it was one of those with the plastic buttons, and you'd go up to it and you'd press the buttons, and they would kind of shock you through. If you pressed it just the right way, it would kind of give you a little zap through your finger. But we only had like 43 channels or something like that, and that was after the really good cable came in. And you know, of course, 33 was BET, 34 was MTV, 43 was the History Channel. Those are my my channels, go-to channels back in the day.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. I remember, I didn't realize it at the time. I just thought it was the first time my family had cable, but we lived in Columbus, Ohio at the time, and I did not know this until I Googled Cube QUBE, and people that live in and around Columbus know what I'm talking about, was actually the first ever cable system in America. I did not know that. But it was the remote. Culprit, I'm not shitting you, man. I'm trying to find something in my room. This picture of Kayla. You see how big this picture is?
Oh yeah.
Well, this remote was bigger than this picture. It was less smaller than an 8x10, but bigger than a 5x7. It was about this thick, and it had a wire. Of course, it was wired to your TV, and it had 10 buttons this way and 3 buttons this way. And P10 was the porn channel. And it was like you were saying, it had a key. If you had purchased the P10, they'd give you a key that you could stick in the box and turn it,
Yeah.
and you'd get porn. So me and John were jiggling the fuck out of the wires and sticking all kinds of stuff in there. It's hilarious that you brought that up. What's up, K-Dog? Yeah, they did, Jerry. They used to make Magnum Box TVs here in Greenville. That was a big, big part of this town's growth back in the 70s.
Well, I don't know if it made any difference. I was in Nashville at that time. I don't know if it made any difference, but by God, as sure as there's a God in heaven, we tried. We tried. I don't know if we ever did any good, though. But
absolutely. I'm going to see if I can pull this up. Here it is. Let's see if I can share it with you guys. Damn it. Give me just 1 second. I'm not as fast as some of these other guys that pulling shit up on here. But I think that's because they use OBS to do their streams with StreamYard, of course.
You sound like my wife talking to her girlfriends.
Here we go. This is cute right here. Come on. Slow ass thing. It's taking so freaking long. There we go. You see the finger right there.
Oh yeah.
So you can kind of see how big
Yeah.
the cube box was. Wow, man, that brings back some serious memories.
Well, that was back in the day when you know, if you didn't get the game on television, you could actually tune into the radio to the VOLS network and enjoy the call of the game, you know.
You couldn't in Columbus.
Really?
Oh, hell no. I mean, if there was a basketball game at night, I could pick it up on AM radio. But no, there was no VOL network in Columbus, Ohio. My VOL network was a newspaper the next day, the Columbus Dispatch. And I would... That was my internet, man. I was lucky if I got a score the next day. It just depended on what time Tennessee played. If they played at night, which was rare back in the 80s, but if they played a night game, I didn't get the score till Sunday or Monday.
Yep.
I mean, Monday.
That was
the paper come out so early on Sunday.
I can remember my dad telling me stories of the early 80s when he was in rigger school somewhere up north in there. And he would say, yeah, he would climb to the highest point, the highest hill. He'd drive his car up there and he'd sit on the top of the car with his radio, and he was just barely able to pick it up. So it was, it's just incredible, you know, how they, even with radio, you know, how they've gotten it to progress over the years. And, you know,
oh yeah,
now TV, you know, we're looking at this old stuff, and I'm talking about, you know, I'm a young guy considered, you know, in the realm of the entire world. I think 35 is not that bad of an age to be at, you know.
No, you're young,
all
man,
things
seriously.
going on, but still, yet I remember pushing the buttons on that old Zenith and getting shocked and stuff like that. And my dad, you know, it's like he remembers having to tune it in on the big radio that, you know, before TV, you know, stuff like that. Yep. And it's crazy how quickly all of this has progressed. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, now there's literally no excuse if you're a fan of a college football team. If you didn't watch a game, it's because you chose not to, and it don't matter what corner of the globe. I don't know, maybe I'm sure there's still some countries where you can't get internet, and games. But if you live in America, it don't matter where you're at on Saturday. You can listen or even watch your favorite team. And man, I would love to have had that shit in the 80s and even 90s. Now, the 90s, it was getting better. Around, trying to think of when most Tennessee games were televised. By 95, most Tennessee games were televised.
Well, I remember my dad had season tickets, and we were section R, row 1, seats 1 and 2, right there in the south goal line, pretty much where they made that new party zone, And back years ago, they tore out the old wall and they did all that. But back in the day, there used to be there was no fences or no hedges or anything like that. I'm talking back tartan turf days. And the cheerleaders used to be right in front of us. And of course, they had the big speakers also right in front of us. But I'll never forget the year that they paved a little black track, like literally maybe, a length of maybe 120-yard asphalt, just the length of the field. And they started running the TV truck up and down. And by TV truck, I mean, this was like, imagine the frame of like a Dodge 1500 or a Z71, something like that. Just the frame. And then they had this guy sitting on the little truck with the steering wheel. And then they had this big boom that would go up and down. And they had the platform with the
block
camera.
Your view a lot, didn't it?
And it would block, and it started blocking our view. And I will never forget I don't know the best way to describe it. I guess it would be immaculate bitch that everyone down low on those sections raised with the university. And they finally, there were little financial kickbacks on, donations per year what my dad had to make just to retain the season tickets, and that's when it started. I guess the whole hubbub of the money racket started up there, was when they figured out, that they could televise it and they would make more money off of, CBS being down there than they would off of the amount of tickets that they sold in those sections. So they said, well, screw it. We'll just run the TV cart in front of all these people and ruin their views. Because
I mean, it wasn't the whole game. I remember that. I've never had seats in those sections, but I can remember seeing thing running back and forth.
In 98, the Arkansas game, the Sterner stumble and fumble. I will never forget that image. Is just literally, it's burnt into my mind because that game was over. We had resigned ourselves to a loss. We were just kind of distraught, not necessarily, I guess, heartbroken in a way, but just kind of like to give an analogy with respect to those, the Zulus had overrun the position. That old movie of the Zulu movie, where the British guys are holding off with the rifles and all, and then the Zulus. And it felt kind of like that, kind of like a defeated, kind of like, resigned atmosphere. And then all of a sudden, Big Billy Ratliff pushes,
stop it right there.
He pushed Burlsworth.
He did not push Burlsworth back, damn it. I went round and round with Billy on this, and I argued with you.
I witnessed this. You're
gonna make me pull the video up, aren't you?
Mr. A, and I
was there too. I was in the stadium. I was in section B, right behind.
I had my father.
I could hear Billy on the side. I shit you not, innocent culprit. I could hear Billy on the side hollering at everybody, keep your helmets on. That's how close.
Keep your helmets on.
I had amazing seats.
And
that year,
I will never forget. My father and I, we had primo seats because right there on the south goal line, we could see the backside of the play. And like I said, we were all resigned to the fact that, we had a big LSU game, everything was going right. I remember walking up the strip and all the drunk guys going, hey kid, what do you think? What do you think? And I would just look at him and I would say, this is why God wants us to be national champions in 98. We had literally, I'm telling you, I kid you not, when this image is burned into my brain, the ball was snapped. Billy Ratliff blew up Burlsworth. Burlsworth was pushed back into Sterner. Sterner, it looked like one of his feet was pegged to the ground. He goes to his right. He rotates to the right. You see the ball come out. And at the same time, I'm sitting in my mind, I'm just a juvenile at the time. I've played enough football to be able to recognize the play developing, but at the time, my mind couldn't process what was happening. He puts the ball out from his right side. All of a sudden, you see him do this kind of cartwheel motion, and it's like he literally just placed the ball on the ground. And then
he did. I'm going to interrupt you because I'm going to play this play, and I've done this so many times on this channel, arguing with people. I love this.
This is the exact view that we had, except it was zoomed out by this is zoomed in. Like, say if somebody that deer hunts, and you say you've got a 3x9x40 scope, where we were at on the south goal line, this would be the scope zoomed in at 9 power.
Oh yeah,
on 3x9x40. This is what it looked like, but it was zoomed. It was zoomed so far up, but I'll never forget this. Go ahead and press play, and then tell me if I'm not right.
You're not right. I can tell you beforehand.
Burlsworth, the right guard, gets blown up. He steps on Sterner's foot.
He doesn't get blown up. He does step on Sterner's foot, but if you watch,
if he doesn't get blown up, then he drops. He drops a lot far back into his pass protection.
It was a pass.
He took too many steps in his.
Because as the ball was snapped, he immediately.
I'll say this as a lineman. We were always taught that first step in the pass pro was going to be a big step. He took too big of a step on the first step. He got that wouldn't have occurred if Big Billy Ratliff had not literally been so fast off the ball, stayed low like his coaching taught him, and taught him to blow up the play. And let's just press play and let's see what happened.
Let's see, you, Catfish, and about 5 billion other people crack me up when I hear this story because
I witnessed it. I witnessed it as sure as
the video does not lie in a second. And let's watch. Now, look, let me get my part in before we watch this.
Yes, sir.
Billy did engage Burlsworth. No fact about it. No denying it. But
look.
Let me finish.
Look at the gaps that the left guard has.
By the time
look at the gap that Burlsworth has. Billy blew Burlsworth up.
I'm gonna mute you.
He was lined up wrong.
By the time, well, that's okay. He might have been, but by the time Billy engaged Burlsworth had already stepped on Sterner's foot. Now Billy did fucking blow his ass up, but it wasn't like Billy pushed Burlsworth into Sterner. That's what used to crack me up.
Before you press play, do you see the splits that the left guard has with the center, and then the split that Burlsworth has with the center on the right side?
I'm not arguing any.
Do you think that it was
point of yours?
Do you think that it was a possible blown up RPO?
Could have been. I don't know. I don't understand football plays like a lot of you guys do.
I mean, the only reason Burlsworth should have that big of a gap in his split on the right side on a pass play would be if it was a possible RPO to the left side and he was going to pull and be the lead block on the outside of the tackle in the B gap.
RPOs in 1998, but anyway, let's just watch it and I'll rewind it and you'll see that he steps on Sterner's foot before Billy ever makes contact with him.
Two receivers to the left side. As Sterner.
See, by the time Billy engages him, he's already stepped on Sterner's foot. And
I don't know. I couldn't see that from the.
It happens fast. I'll try and play it slow.
Like I said, the TV. You don't have the view that I had. See, I'm in section R on the south goal line. I'm direct. I like exactly a 45 degree angle to the right.
You're off the screen. Yeah. We can't even see you over here. But the TV had the best angle because they zoom in on it.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Stumbles and falls, fumbles the football.
The Billy just happened to be right there, man.
I think
ball dropped.
Let's
ask the people in the comments. What do you guys think? We'll watch it a couple of times.
Well, let me give this option as well here. I personally think as a fellow lineman of all these guys. We're all kind of like a brotherhood. I think that the fact of the tragic events that unfolded to Brandon, which he didn't deserve it. He was a really good guy. I mean, they don't make it.
He died from an accident. It was
They don't.
horrible.
Yeah, they don't make athletes like that anymore. And the way he passed was just a
Look, I'm
horrible
personal
thing.
friends with Billy Ratliff. All right, I can say that,
Do
and
you
a lot of people can't say
if
that.
if
No,
if
I'm gonna mute you in
if
a
I were
second now because you're not letting me talk. Me and Billy have had extensive talks about that play and about Brandon Burlesworth, and he says that undoubtedly Brandon Burlesworth is the best offensive lineman he ever went against. His technique, his form, his size, his everything about him, he said, was the perfect offensive lineman. Which, if you've seen the Brian Burlesworth story, you know that wasn't always the case with him. He had to work his ass off, to get to where he was going to be. He would have by now. He would have already been in the NFL Hall of Fame, in my opinion.
that's one thing I always admired about that gentleman, especially growing up in the mid 2000s, aspiring to try to play college football. That his story was one to really follow, and it was
that's a
really
good point,
really
Tim.
great example.
How old were you in 1998? You were young. You
I
were like
was 12, 13,
when did you say you were born?
87.
So yeah, you were like
Yeah,
10.
I was shooting
You were
deer by
young.
then. I was shooting deer by then on my own, and I was watching how the deer reacted after the shot and following. So I have no doubts in my recognition of what happened.
There's a bloody birdie for you, Halo Master, you fucker. Yeah, we know you kicked our ass last year. Just come to Neyland this year, and all will be right with the world. Shit, it's 10:01. I got to get off here. We will resume this Friday night. If you come in and remind me, anyways, that's 2 days from now. I'll probably forget what I had for dinner that day. But I'm gonna cut you loose, innocent culprit. Thanks for joining, and thanks for having a conversation with me. I will always have this conversation with anybody, anytime. Because
Have a good night, sir.
uh,
It was great talking to you, and try to keep those East Tennessee allergies under control. I know I'm trying to do the same. Good luck to you with it, and God bless you, sir.
take care, brother. Good to see you. It's funny that the first time I saw innocent culprit on here, I thought he was a unk. I thought he was a troll. I thought he was unk, and I gladly found out that he's not. So anyway, I'm gonna holler at you guys later. I know a lot of you are wanting to go watch Pete's stream, so y'all enjoy Pete. I'm gonna go watch Survivor. I'm a survivor. Love you guys. Mean it. Hug your mom and daddy. Go Vols. Screw y'all. We'll see you Friday night, right here on BVD TV at 7. You'll get used to it. You'll get used to the schedule. Here it is one more time. Fridays at 7, Daddy and the Dog, Sunday Night Live, YouTube's longest running Sunday night live stream, possibly one of the longest running live streams, period, at 8 o'clock. And then my new show, Wednesday's Will Call, at 8 o'clock. Love you. Mean it. And I'm going to see you Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday right here